What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 2.41% today. 14.89 the low, 15.77 the high, and a good amount of volume. So 42.1 million shares being traded, 44.5 is the average. So going into today, there was a hell of a lot of fear linked to the tariffs. Even during the overnight trading, SoFi did hit $13.99. Give yourself a shout out if you were able to buy anywhere remotely close to the bottom. I do have a funny story that I'm going to tell at the end of the video, kind of about the overnight trading and stuff, but there was a couple of things that really did help SoFi today. One was this right here. So linking to the whole tariffs, Trump did meet with Canada and also Mexico first thing, and I believe they're actually meeting at 3 p.m. Eastern today as well for a second time. But there was some good developments coming from the Mexico-US standpoint. So Mexico did commit 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border. And so that's one of Trump's biggest concerns is the flow of fentanyl. So I think that was good. And because of this and maybe other negotiations, the tariffs did get pushed back 1 month. Again, that's only with Mexico, not with Canada. I don't think there was any updates. Canada's acting a little bit childish from what I've seen on social media about just banning just alcohol and many things like that. And I'm Canadian. Like I see both viewpoints, and hopefully you guys appreciate I'm very unbiased with even all my videos. Like I think Canada's just acting a little bit childish ultimately, but all in all, I think the states do have the advantage. So Canada eventually will have to give in if they know what's best for their own economy. But nonetheless, though, the market did really appreciate this and it really moved higher. In addition to that, though, you did have the manufacturing data. 49.8 was the forecast, came in at 50.9. So that is amazing information. I even mentioned in my pre-market video that if for whatever reason it was to come in very high above 50, this was going to really push the market higher despite the fears. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Chronologically, this did come out first, and then you had that update from Mexico and the States for the tariffs. So the market absolutely loved this information right here. Then there was one additional thing that really came out that helped SoFi. That was this. So a new analyst rating, JP Morgan, Reginald, who has a 50% success rating, did reiterate their $16 price target. And given where SoFi was at the time, which was roughly around that $15 range, yeah, that is very bullish. So yeah, that's some updates for that. Associated to SoFi, though, they did put out news. So SoFi to participate in upcoming investor conference. So that is going to be held by Bank of America at the Bank of America Securities 2025 Financial Services Conference, February 11th. And the head honcho, good old Anthony Noto, is going to be the one kind of doing the fireside chat. So I do believe that's exactly 1 week away from today. So yeah, usually whenever SoFi does these fireside chats, I think SoFi always closes green. Of course, that's kind of just maybe over analyzing a little bit too much, but still something maybe to keep in mind. Moving on from here, you did have shorts return 226,000 shares. 12.37% of the free flow is being shorted. Works out to be 133.21 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow minimum once again is negative, so negative 0.2, meaning a broker out there is still trying to drum up some business. It's kind of a losing game if you ask me, but I think us looking at a lot of these analyst ratings and which firm they are with, it's kind of, we can start to narrow it down on maybe which brokers are the ones doing that. But again, what do I know? Moving on from that, looking at options, 26 million in calls, 6.13 million in puts, 48% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. And of the call options, or of the total premiums, was 31.7. So it definitely was fairly good, a little bit better than Friday. Friday was 28.3, 21.1. Put/call ratio definitely very good. So yeah, I think there's still a lot of optimism based on the call options that were purchased today. You see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $18 range. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 14. So still some fear in the market, but as far as a risk versus reward standpoint, there is more upside clearly based on that. these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. A couple big ones, 1.4, 15 million. So definitely big money was starting to pay more attention to SoFi today than normal. So I see that as very optimistic and bullish. With it closing at $15.40, it is trading right above this S1. So 15.32 will be a key support that you really want to watch for it to hold. Flip side, 16 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. SoFi is moving up after hours, and I think that is linked to this right here. So Palantir did have a huge win on their earnings, and so it is up 18%. So most likely that's going to fuel some optimism going into tomorrow. And so I think SoFi is up because of that. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from the analyst rating and everything that I kind of talked on, SoFi's technicals are still somewhat in limbo. So where it did close, it is right now below that 50-day moving average, the yellow line right here. So that's sitting at $15.74. So that's going to be also another key point that you really want to watch for SoFi in the short term to get above. So you have that 1532 fib level and then that 50-day moving average. So yeah, most likely you're going to really watch for that to get above that tomorrow. And with the optimism, maybe it could happen. Tomorrow we also do have Jolt numbers straight out the gate. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. But pretty much that's what moved SoFi today. There is a funny story that I wanted to kind of explain. So during the overnight trading, I obviously sometimes trade back and forth, never really with SoFi. So I have SoFi in a couple of different brokerages and accounts, but not with 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧. So during overnight, I saw the sell-off with SoFi, which was very unjustified. So I wanted to buy. I did see at the time, I think it was like at 1450, so it was already recovering from the lows. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to put in a bid, and I think I put in a bid at $14.10, and I wanted to buy it. This was 1 a.m. and so I woke up this morning unsure of what happened, and I just wanted to see what the market did, and I saw my account, I had negative 1100 shares. So I was shorting SoFi. I was freaking out. I was like, what the hell happened? I quickly closed my position. Luckily enough, it was at like 1490, so I made $100 ish, nothing really crazy. But I looked, and I guess this is the downside of doing overnight trading, especially at 1 a.m. You might be tired. I accidentally put sell, not buy. So and I guess it filled at $15 based on when they opened it or something. I'm not really sure, in all honesty. All I saw is that at $15 it got filled, and I was shorting 1100 shares. I'm like, what the hell is happening? So luckily enough, I still, I guess, made money, a little bit of money, but maybe that's the downside of doing overnight trading. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Give yourself a shout out if you did buy the dip today, or did you do options? Did you panic sell? What did you do with SoFi? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. So I did launch it roughly around 2 months ago. Many of them have been exactly on point and bangers, even Palantir. So Palantir after hours is definitely hitting my mark right there. December the 9th, I did put this out where I went over my explanation, where I saw it going, how I saw in the short term it was going to pull down, which it did. And then I did see roughly around $95, very much achievable post earnings and everything. And yeah, exactly what happened. So in that 2 months, I've already called many stocks that have doubled, quadrupled, a lot of on point things like this. So definitely worthwhile to pop over to my Patreon, take a look. I do also a lot of earnings and whatever else. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.